welcome back to the Pot of Gold podcast. Today we're speaking to Miri Cordaro. She's an entrepreneur, a real estate investor, and a financial educator who's passionate about helping individuals, especially women, rethink their approach to money. After experiencing her own financial setbacks, she discovered the power of infinite banking through the IUL and MPI strategies. So now she teaches others how to protect, grow, and create lasting legacies with their money. And with her warm, story-driven approach, Miri inspires families to take control of their financial future and build freedom that lasts for generations. Miri, thank you so much for being on the show today. I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. It's always a question in the back of your mind. Am I showing up good enough that people actually want to be here, right?
Yeah, there you go.
I'm glad that that's actually the case. So what I like to start with is I like to get a little bit about your background. What was your career like, your education? Mm-hmm. What led you to choose to specialize in helping people with infinite banking?
Okay. So to my career, actually, my main career was stay-at-home mom. So, yeah, of course, I worked a little bit before I got married, obviously. But when I became a mother, when I got married, that was my mission, is to be home for my children. And I could have done it. My husband and I decided that he was the bread maker, the winner, and I'm going to be at home. I really wanted to do that. And I would not change it for anything in my life.
How many kids do you have?
I have four.
Four kids.
3 girls and 1 boy.
Sounds like a handful.
It was at the time, but my son came much later. So my girls were really very helpful.
Okay.
He literally thought he had 4 mothers. That was not fun.
That.
Yes. So, and now we are totally empty nester. But my journey with entrepreneurship started before my son left, because the girls much older than him, they already left the nest, about the youngest 8 years, 10 and 14. So he was he was here. I mean, it was nice having him and all that. But I started my entrepreneurship already as soon as the girls kind of left. It was the beginning of my entrepreneurship. I must say, I've learned a lot, but the journey wasn't easy at all in any way or shape. And the last big fix and flip that we did kind of like really set back us pretty seriously. I've done another one. Sorry?
It set you back far?
Oh, yes, because we had a partnership that was pretty bad. Partner stole money and we had to recover. We had to recover the whole project. Was the COVID hit at the time too. So nobody at the beginning knew what's going to happen. So it's not, if it was just maybe year, a little bit old, maybe another half year after that, we probably would have known, but we didn't know what the market's going to do. So we did finish the project. It was a beautiful home. We sold it with a loss. We knew we were going to lose a chunk of money. We didn't lose everything, but we lost. We knew that because we really didn't know what's the market going to do. Are we going to keep it for a little bit to see if we can recover more, or we end up selling, and that kind of threw us off. Lost quite a bit of retirement money that my husband worked very hard for. So I kind of went to a quest. I've decided, okay, Miri, I left all my financial to my husband. Hence, not that he did anything wrong. He just did what he knew. And I've decided I actually really want to understand how money really works. And I had a friend that already did infinite banking we used the IUL life insurance as a vehicle. And of course, we have the MPI strategy in it, which is supercharged. So I've decided, okay, after a couple of years, okay, I need to reset my life. When you're 60, you don't expect to start almost over again. But it is what it is. I have my health and I'm good to start again. So that's where I decided to educate myself and really help my children to build something more stable. So, and protect the money that they're going to make. So even if hiccups will come, they'll be protected. So that was my mission. And of course, teach anybody that wants to learn, women specifically, but this is for everybody, but women is my passion. I want them to, even if you stay home mom, learn about finance, that you can assure some of the stuff that maybe your husband have a blind spot,
Yeah.
Or not knowing, just so that's how I started with infinite banking.
Just out of curiosity, you went into real estate kind of the first thing you were doing, assuming you had some success, but then that fix and flip set you back. And that made you realize, okay, this isn't going to always be a perfect thing. There's going to be problems. There's going to be financial setbacks. And so you went out to find a solution to kind of help prevent the damage that caused from happening again.
Yes. And then so I can build something that then I can take that money again and invest it in real estate. I really love real estate. Real estate is an awesome way to build wealth too. But if we're just going to rely on that and we don't have the resources, yes, you can have other people money, but it's still, you need something that provides you some kind of source of income so you can don't act out of desperation, or just so you know that everything taken care of on your basic, and then you can grow from there. I really truly believe that infinite banking it's like, think about a house with foundation. It's a solid foundation that from there, money that compounds and grows and protected, you can borrow against it for business purchases, for even just lending in real estate or buying in properties, and you can just kind of move fluid the money in and out as it's still sitting there and growing and compounding, and not subject for the market volatility that goes down, up. And as we know, compound does not like setback. It likes a consistent growth.
So I have some basic understanding of infinite banking and how it works, but could you kind of go over the basics for the audience who might have never heard of it before?
Yes, and I know there is some misconception about infinite banking. I mean, the word already says a lot. So essentially, the way I like to explain it, it's like you become your bank. So yes, if you have like maybe some money in the bank, like a quick emergency fund, that's okay. I just don't like the saving, because saving doesn't really grow your money. Actually, it doesn't really protect it. I mean, if something happened to the bank, it's gone. But it's just that it's definitely not protected or grow. I mean, the banks makes tons of money on your money, and you make what, 0.01?
Yeah, they pay really a marginal interest rate on that savings
That's
account.
how they work. Fine. And we just need to understand how banking works. And I think a lot of us, but we don't think, because we think this is our tool, this is what everybody does, let's do that. So instead of having 100,000, 50,000, even 20,000 sitting in the bank doing nothing, let's put it in an IUL cash value vehicle. Now, I know people hear life insurance, they think about, the life insurance part of it. That comes with it, but the way we build it, if you buy too much life insurance, you actually pay for it because it costs and it eats from your premium. What we try to do, the way we build it, it's balanced. So we just get the minimum which require for life insurance to use the IUL cash value, and that will grow with the growth. So what happens, all your premium that you put every month, actually 99% of it is growing and compounding for you. And then from there, we have the MPI strategy that we love that we can do. Meaning it's like, think about corporate America when they offer 401k and all those traditional ones. They say, oh, we'll match it. So it's the similar things, the life insurance matching your contribution. And now it's literally supercharge your growth, because now you have, in the third year, if you put 25,000, they'll match 25,000. So now you have more growing. So they take on their money, they'll take the first 5, but there's always arbitrage between it. So you're not only making growth on your premium, you're making growth of 2 to 3 points interest on that money that they let you borrow. And now this is the 2 ways to grow it faster. And then we bring, real estate opportunity. Then now you take the money out. It doesn't really leave. It's still the same amount, still always stays there. You borrow against it.
Okay, so you create like a private debt instrument against the policy?
Yes, because your money is still, if you have 50, it's still, even if you take 20, 50 still sitting there growing. And you borrowed against it, and now you're going to do maybe lending for 10% or 15% short. Now you actually grew that money literally in three places. It's like 3, we call it triple dipping. And it's really supercharged that. And essentially you building this wealth that in retirement, unlike traditional, you actually don't have really a penalty when you want to borrow against it. It's a very similar process to get into your bank when you borrow it. You have floor to protect it. So if the market crashes, we're not in the market. We're just mimicking the growth of the market. So we have zero. People can lose in the market 20, 30, 50%, but you don't. You just have zero that year.
When you say the market, are you talking about the stock market?
Yeah, the stock market, the 500 SP. Yes. So there's a lot of amazing ways. I think it beats any traditional, because if you put it side by side, in the end of the day, the amount that you get for the same amount that you're going to put is literally double, sometimes triple. And you know, as a caveat, it's tax free. And that's what I love the most.
Is that partly because you're making those private debt instruments like loans against the policy and you don't get taxed on loans? Or
no, it's because when you make your contribution, it's from already taxed money. So all the growth is taxed.
Okay, similar to like when you put it into a Roth IRA or something.
Something like that. Very similar, just this is compounding for you. And there is no really limit of how much, all the traditional, you have a limit, how much you can put every year. You have penalties. It's not tax-free unless you have Roth, but it even beats the Roth idea. So, and you really, your own banking, and you actually can build it in a way that you really build wealth for your family. In generational, you can put it, there's so many great, we're not going to get into it because there's a lot of details, but like you can put it in a trust and really teach your children how to actually build that trust even bigger. And it's, to me, it's like amazing. And what's wonderful about this, everybody can do it in any salary. You just have to be consistent, like anything in life, right? And pay yourself first. This is my main thing. Teaching even our children, I'm harping it to my kids. Don't say I can't afford it. No, you pay yourself first and you live with the rest, because that will pay dividend in the next 20, 15, 20 years,
So when you say pay yourself first, does that mean like separating out a set amount of money every paycheck? That just goes directly to your savings, or in this case, to your policy?
Yes. And you know what? Start with 10%. It might feel kind of tight, but you're going to learn to live. It's like we are a creature of habits. It's like in our mind, and I don't have to tell you that, but it's just that if we kind of train ourselves, you can figure out what happened if you one day your boss said, well, we have to cut your salary because we're not doing great, but we don't want to lose you. You'll take the cut, but you're going to learn how to maneuver and find places to actually maybe cut a little bit. But the difference here is that you're building something for your future, and you can use it while you're here. It's not only for death, and that's what I love about it. So
okay, so that's interesting. Take basically, this all came from financial literacy. After you educated yourself about how money works more, this is the route that you were led to because of one of your network connections. And now you're looking to help other people understand the same thing so that they can leverage their current finances to be able to build long-term stability and also be able to provide more, well, not just education to their children, but also resources or the ability to perform even when the things in life kind of throw you for a loop.
Absolutely. Yes. I think it's important. I think it's, we have a book that Curtis Ray wrote, Everybody End Up Poor. It's kind of a very shocking kind of name. What does that mean? It means that because if you look at most of the people that retired only from their 401k, they have there's no enough money because
they have to keep their
because they have that the 4% rule kill you really. I mean, if you have most of people don't even have $1 million in 401k, but let's say if they even have $1 million, let's be very generous. What's 4%? It's 40,000. It's before taxes. If you learn to live on 100,000, 120, and so the idea is like when we grow older, we need to shrink our life, and I don't understand why. I mean, this is supposed to be our golden years, right? To be able to do more.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because one of the reasons I decided to get out of the job that I was in and learn a trade was that I was making $10 an hour. I looked around the cubicles of the customer service office I was working at, and I saw people in their 70s and their 80s. They were stuck making phone calls every day because their retirement didn't cover their bills.
And it happens.
And so they were going to be in those cubicles making phone calls to customer service people until they died.
And
I realized that if I didn't learn how things work, I was going to be that person in 50 years.
I'm telling you, this happens so much. You see people, they're greeting you in Walmart or Costco. Nothing wrong. The job is not the wrong thing. It's just that it brings you to the point that you really, truly don't have enough money. Because let me explain to you something. I mean, visually it will be even better to see it. When you look at the way traditional growth happen versus the IUL. So in traditional, they run. They use, because you're young, you use the high yield stock and you see growth and then you see dump and then growth. And it's like, oh, you're going to have time to catch up. But only those dips, even if you have one dip, we're not talking about more. Usually you'll have a couple of them in your lifespan. But even if you have one, Nathaniel, that will kill thousands, if not 100,000 of growth, because now you have to catch up. First of all, before it can grow, you have to catch up. And you know what? People do forget when money goes up again, they forgot they lost about 20, 30 of that already. So that's one thing. So it goes through cycles, and they want you to sprint in the beginning. And then as you grow older, they wanted to protect your money so you don't lose more. So they take it out and they put it in more very slow dividend growing when you actually need it the most. So you end up with very little. Now, if you take the IUL approach, the first 2-3 years, even up to 5, it's really slow, really slow. And when it takes off like a fire, because there's no, you don't have to catch up. It's literally compounding every 7 years. Beside all the other things that you do with it, it literally compounds. It keeps compounding.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be easier to understand if we're able to see some kind of a visual, and maybe people can reach out to you for a copy of that.
Yes, I'll show you.
I realized that we haven't really defined what IUL means or what your other strategy was. Did you call it MPI?
Yes, MPI. So IUL is Indian Universal Life Insurance. That's the IUL. It's the specific life insurance that give you cash value, actually cash value. And there's a lot of product, a lot of companies that do that. We are not the only one, but we use one of the oldest, amazing, we use Mutual of Omaha. It is solid company they survive depression, everything you can imagine. So we use them, and we have a system that's flawless when we use maximum premium index, which is MPI. Is the strategy, is the index. So this is just the matching, that we're matching what you put. So you can have more money to grow together, more growth, and more ability to actually borrow. So that's the strategy. And I don't know how many people do the MPI. I know that we are very, very strong on that. That's our product that we love so much, especially if people want to use it and maybe even do some real estate or even just lending. And I love, as I said, I love to work with women, but I work with younger people. They have time. Nathaniel, when you're 20, I'm actually opening one for my son right now.
I talked to a CPA a couple interviews back, and he mentioned that because of the way compound interest works, your dollar is worth more when you're younger by a factor of almost 16. And as you get older and older, that factor starts to shrink.
Thank you. I need to go and listen to that one because, this is the part of my challenge with younger people. And I hope any younger people that would listen, that they think they have time. But you're right. They do have time, but that's why they need to compound on it.
You need to act now.
Use it.
Use the time.
Utilize it. You do have time. Somebody that started 40 does have time, but they have maybe till 65, 20 years of compounding. Can you imagine if you have 40 years of compounding? You can really end up with millions of dollars. I'm not kidding. And it's phenomenal.
And that's the other thing about compounding is that it accelerates over time, right?
It does.
If you start
over
really
time.
young,
exactly.
By the time you're 40, you're getting a much higher yield than someone who's just starting at 40.
Yeah. Have you ever heard about the story about the penny?
Yeah. If you double the penny every
day
for so many days.
Oh my gosh. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. You're talking about a penny. If you calculate it, it's crazy, the amount of money. That's how that's what Albert Einstein said. It's the eighth wonder of the world.
Yeah. Albert Einstein said it's
the one that knows it.
Interest.
Exactly. The one that understands it, earns it. The one that doesn't, loses it. So,
Well, I think that that's something that everyone should take from this interview today is that you need to educate yourself about your finances. No
absolutely.
one else is going to go out there and make sure you know how money works. You have to take the initiative and learn for
Yeah.
yourself.
And another thing that I love sharing and saying it over and over, hope is not a strategy. Math is.
Yeah,
Math is.
amen to that. It's funny. I used to make the joke that math was mental abuse to humans. That's what it stood for.
You know what? I can get it. I understand that. I can
But it's
see
a
it.
very useful tool, and I think it's launched humanity forward in very many ways.
Let me
And
tell
we'll
you,
continue to use it.
I never liked math, but I love numbers because numbers don't lie.
Mm.
1 and 1 is always going to be 2. I don't care how you dice it, cut it, look at it upside down. It doesn't lie. So,
Well, I really appreciate what you've brought here today and the fact that we have a little bit better understanding of how the infinite banking system works. Because this is only a short podcast interview, we can't go into too much depth on it. So
okay.
if people wanted to learn more about how this works, how can they reach out to you? Where do they go?
I gave you my Candly. They can book 30 minutes, and really basically it's not a cookie cutter. It's fine. The product is a product, and we want to build it exactly what your goals are. Anybody's goals. Some people want to have money, they just want to let it sit and compound till they're like 55, for example, whatever they do. But if somebody comes to me, for example, and tell me, Miri, I'm 25, I want to retire. And meaning retired, it doesn't stop doing anything, but just I know that I have $20,000 coming every month, no tax free. Then I can do whatever I want. That's what I want. I said, okay, well, let's build it. Let's see what we need. Let's reverse engineer it. You're 25, you want to do it by 55, and we'll reverse engineer it and we'll build it. And I'll tell you how much you need to put every month to get to that. Just an example. But some people do it for investment. They want to protect their money. So if something happened, they can recover, not lose it. So there's a lot of reason why. I mean, I think it's good reason for anything, even if you just want to let it sit and grow. Better than the bank. I can tell you every day it's better than the bank. So I like to chat with people, find where they are, what age they are, what's their dream and hopes, what they hoping to get, what they want to be in 15, 20 years. It's really, everything depends. Love to chat with people and just find out so we can help them.
And so if you're interested in having a conversation with Miri, I'm going to include her Calendly link in the description of the YouTube video below. So you can click on that and find a time to have a chat with her. The cool thing about the way this is all structured is she's right. It's going to be based on your personal circumstances, and it's not such a cookie cutter kind of a product. You're going to be able to tune it to your unique situation. There's also going to be links to her social media handles so that you can make sure to follow her and keep up with the content that she's putting out. Miri, do you have any recommendations or maybe resources that you could offer to people that might be able to help them with this?
Yeah, so I did put a link for my PDF. It really goes through 12 pillars, we call it. And this is the 12 things that our products gives you. You can't get better than that. Get it, read it, learn it. If you have questions, you can always reach out to me. I can expand on it. It's really a wonderful resource because I don't like to be there, offering the sky and give you half of it. I rather under promise, over delivery. So those 12 pillars are really good to understand what you need in a policy because I've seen, can't even tell you how many policies that don't. The product is good, but the way they built it, it's so wrong. And people making getting the result they want because it's a product that you need to build it in the right way. It's a tool.
That makes sense. Intentional about how it's put together.
Want to build it correctly. So it is very predictable. We actually, when we build it, we're very conservative. So usually it's much better. But that's what we like. Like to be conservative and hey, surprise you.
There you go. Well, so you say PDF, does that mean it's like an ebook of some variety?
No, I do have an ebook that I have to finish. No, it's just a PDF that tells them all the information about those pillars.
Kind of a thing in PDF form.
It's really nicely done. I think there is my picture there. I don't know if I have all the information on me. I need to check that. But you have my Calendly. So
yeah, I'll make sure that all the details are correct for people. Do you have any other recommendations or advice to give to people?
Yes, two books that I highly recommend. If somebody actually reach out to me, I can give them the PDF too. I didn't put it, but they need to reach out for me for that. That's called, the first one is Everybody Ends Up Poor. Phenomenal. You can read it in one sitting. And it's so mind blowing and open your brain like, wow, it really goes in history why the 401k started, everything. Just really, really very great read. And if you are numbers, and I think you would like it, by the way, it's the science, the lost science of compound interest. I will send those two. I will send that to you personally. But everybody that wants to have a PDF for it, you can connect with me in any of social media, messenger, anything. And I can.
Awesome. I really appreciate you jumping on the show today with us today, Miri. This has been the Pot of Gold podcast, where we talk about finances, wealth generation, and real estate investing. The whole aim of the podcast is to help people who are looking to become entrepreneurs learn what's required to be able to do that, so that they can leave the 9-to-5 grind behind and find the financial freedom they're looking for. So if you felt like this episode was valuable to you, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the like button below, and we'll let you know when we do this again, and you'll be able to tune in next time. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye.